Hello BookTube. Paul at the Accidental Bookseller made a really great discussion video like a month ago that I've seen going around over the last couple of weeks, and it's about the 5 hardest books he's ever read. He gave a very lovely list, and I thought I should do that too because I've read some difficult books. So I've got my 5 here, and then I've also got an unhinged amount of honorable mentions here. I will do something a bit different. I will be like outside just talking about books, I will be mentioning authors too, because sometimes the one book just can't do some of these authors justice. And I interpret hardest because I know it's probably like more the most challenging, but I also included books that are hardest to read because of how bad the book is, or whether it's like outside stuff of just it being an actual challenging read. So this is very therapeutic for me. There's a lot of books here that I know some people like, but these are some of the hardest books I read, or even just to sit through at times. So let's start with the honorable mentions. So the first one I have here is the last 3 novels that Thomas Hardy published. We have Tess, we have The Well Beloved, and then Judy Obscure. Just 3 very bitter, jaded novels that I can't even be bothered to sit through again. I've read them multiple times just to process the complete drop, of Hardy's quality. Even then, I don't know. I think because he was such a good romantic writer, like he was a romance writer with a lot of great love triangles and all that, especially in the mid half of his career and all that. But something just changed in him, and he produced 3 very hard novels to sit through because they don't they don't follow Thomas Hardy's strengths, I feel like, especially when it comes to characters and all that. I know people love Jude and all that, but it's hard for me to sit through. So we have those 3. Then next, we're really hitting some big authors here. I have Dickens, but I did pick out 2 books that I found so hard and challenging to sit through. And both of these books I've read twice, and both of them I've unhauled them recently in the last couple months. And that is Oliver Twist and David Copperfield, easily the most Dickensian of Dickens's novels, at least for me. I can't sit through these books. It's so sappy and over the top, and especially Copperfield is just so unnecessarily long, even for Dickens. And Oliver Twist just literally does nothing for me. I finished Oliver Twist like the second time, and I was like, oh my god, like that's a book, and literally moved on with my life. But yeah, so we have those 2 books from Dickens in particular because it's hard for me to sit through because I don't like the more Dickensian style of his writing. It just literally pains me. It really does. Next we have Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. I'm an Ali girly. Whenever she releases a book, I'm there waiting. I get it the day it comes out, and I audiobook it or ebook it. And Problematic Summer Romance is easily her worst. Every trope that's listed to describe this book, she absolutely misses and doesn't even do the trope right. Like, it's probably the worst slow burn I've ever read, but at the same time, it's not really a slow burn at all. And like, nothing happens. I just put it on this list because it was hard to sit through, even compared to other Ali Hazelwood novels. And so that's I've got that one there. Then we have the Wimpy Kid series, so I have the Wimpy Kid post The Long Haul. Now I'm going to do an entire video about Wimpy Kid because over this month actually, I was like, me and my friend, we read all of the Wimpy Kid books in 20 days. We done one a day, and it was insane. And I feel like post The Long Haul, the one that had the awful movie about it, the series went off a cliff, to be honest. And also this introduced the pig. I don't even think the pig literally has a name. And Jeff probably added in because he's like, I can't add a dog, that's too basic, or anything else. So he's like, I'm going to do a pig. And then instantly realized he can't do anything with a pig because that's a bit, it's lame. And I think The Long Haul was the last book in the series that was actually decent. There are a couple here and there, but I'll talk about that when I actually do my Wimpy Kid video. But yeah, Wimpy Kid post The Long Haul was very challenging and hard for me to read, but especially the pig, that was pain. So we have that. And then we got some 2 philosophers here. We have Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas. I've talked about these authors on my channel. The reason I find them hard to read is because they are so dry and boring literally telling, like, there's nothing about nothing going on. Even the fact that Aquinas is a theologian, which is literally philosophy, but just put God in it, and that's literally the difference. Both of them are the driest writers I ever read, and just the lamest, really. Like, especially in the ancient world or Middle Ages, where there's so many great authors, and people just stick with Aquinas or Aristotle. It pains me. It's hard to sit through, so that's why it's an honorable mention. And then the last honorable mention we have here, I know we're like nearly 6 minutes in, but the last honorable mention for me is Patrick White. Now, the reason Patrick White is hard for me to read is because obviously I'm Australian, and he is the national author at this point. I don't think no one reads him anymore, but like he's got the literary stripes, he's got all of that stuff. But Patrick White's pain to read for me. I've done everything. I've done a good chunk of his novels. I've done his plays, his poetry, his letters, his own memoirs. Like, literally, I've dipped my toes into everything. Even Voss I don't like. And it hurts me, that's why, because he's, the biggest author we've ever had. And he's literally like D.H. Lawrence, who could have made this list the more I think about it. D.H. Lawrence is hard to read because he's such a bad writer, except his nonfiction. But like Patrick White's like we have D.H. Lawrence at home. Like that's literally it. And so Patrick White is an honorable mention because his books are hard for me to read because it lets me down every time. And so let's actually get to the list now. So number 5, we have Sally Rooney. I don't need anything to say. I read Normal People like a year or two ago, and I was like, because I've heard so much about it, I literally went in knowing nothing and was absolutely horrified by what I read. I was so horrified. I read her other 2 books, like literally, just to confirm what I was reading. And then, obviously, I read Intermezzo, her last book, when it came out, the day it came out, and I was even more scared because it's even longer than her other 3 books, which means my tinfoil hat theory is that because Intermezzo is so long, she's getting to the point in her career where there's no editors, there's no one coming in, she can do what she wants, and that's a bit scary, especially in a post, like, Iron Flame world we live in, where editors aren't there at all, and it's kind of scary. But Sally Rooney was very hard for me because I cringed my way through it, and I don't get why she has so much hype around her, and I don't get it. And yeah, so we have her. Number 4, we have Sigmund Freud. The reason he's on this list is because I don't get it at all. He's very hard to read because the sheer mental gymnastics you have to do to even barely understand what he's trying to say, especially when it comes to, I don't even want to say theories, because he has nothing to back up his claims about like everything he talks about. He's such a bad writer. He has the worst literary takes I've ever come across. The fact that the whole Hamlet is in love with his mum theory, and that will never die, even though it's literally not true, and it pains me every time I hear that referenced, and a lot of his other stuff too. But Freud's actual writing is hell. Like, it's scary. It's too much for me. It's too much. It's not even like a funny too much, like, oh my god, like I can like take it with a grain of salt, like read it tongue in cheek or whatever. But it's so self-unaware, and it's just hard for me to read. And so we have him. And then we have Harvey's Age by Jeanette McCurdy. This is a new release. It's hard for me to read because the writing is just so bad. And especially if you listen to the audiobook, Jeanette, I feel so bad. She can't narrate an audiobook to save her life. But it's kind of iconic at the same time, so I'm kind of like on the fence about it. But Harvey's Age, this book. It's everywhere right now. It was a hard book for me to read, to be honest, and I don't want to talk about it that much. Then number 2, we have Faulkner, just chucking everything, just pretentious and just not for me. There's 600 trillion other Southern Gothic writers I'd pick up any day over Faulkner, like literally. And then number 1 is Joyce, and the reason Joyce is the hardest because through the because you may think Joyce is not that bad because he only has 4 major books plus like a couple other side stuff, but it's pain. It's pain. It's so hard for me to read it. Like literally, there's just nothing going on. I've sat through Ulysses. It was pain. It was so hard for me to read. I read Finnegan's Wake while I was camping, and I had to. It was the fact I didn't just leave it there at the campsite. But the reason he's number one is because the thought of reading Joyce again is just it's difficult, it's hard, and I'm like, it's not even worth it at the end of the day for me. And I've accepted that. I've moved on to other writers, especially from that time period. There's so many more. Like, just read Kafka. Like, literally, he's so much better. And that is some authors and books that I find hard and difficult to read. So yeah, let me know what you think about my list, and tell me some authors and books below in the comments that are hard for you to read. And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.